Hello, this is Brother Joseph. I want to talk to you about the last article I wrote about the woke right being just as anti-Christian as the woke left. Really what drew me to writing that article, I didn't want to deal with anything political, but I'm seeing a trend that is disturbing, and that is traditional Catholics and modernist Catholics and just Christians in general becoming incredibly anti-Jewish, anti-Semitic. And I was looking deeper into it, and I can see that the same things that caused the woke left are there in the right. And my appeal to this, to those who may be facing it or may be drawn by it, is we're called to the gospel. We're not called to these political fringes that are based on resentment, based on vengeance, based on unforgiveness, based on pride. Because really that is the root of the woke left and the woke right. They play identity politics. They have to have a scapegoat of some race to blame. For the left, it's the quote-unquote cis white men. For the right, it's the Jews. For the left, of course, it's the patriarchy. You gotta throw down the patriarchy. For the right, it's Zionism. And you could go right on down the list, and I do that in the article. And identify. Jeez. Anyways, I just wanted to highlight that and just warn every Christian, warn every believer not to get caught up in it. And that's the problem with doing party politics. You're letting the political party define your ethics. And that's why I don't do it. I just, in everything, I'm a straight up ancient faith, traditional Catholic. And even with the traditional Catholics, I have to be careful because so many of them are just hopping aboard the hate Jews train. One of the red flags you'll see is they'll spend days and hours ranting about Jews. A lot of propaganda that just can't be proven, or that's been proven wrong long ago. And they won't say one word about Islam. Not one word about this religion which is anti-Christian in every single way. Not one word. You know, you'll have clear evidence of, like with the beheadings over in Africa. You know, murder after murder. I've covered some of them. Not one word about it. Oh, but they'll cry about Jews. You know, some Jewish rabbi who spit on somebody. Not one word about the murders, the burning down of churches. But they have plenty to say about Jews. It's not about Christians being killed. It's about how can I get the Jews. And that's just evil. That's not the gospel. I point to the Samaritans in the Bible. The Samaritans were the scapegoat of the Israelites during the New Testament time. They were the ones that the Israelites hated, kind of like how we hate the Jews today. It's interesting how Jesus dealt with them, and I point to that as our example. In John chapter 4, you know, he doesn't go around Samaria, which you would have done if you were a Jew in that day. He goes right through Samaria, and he meets a woman at the well. And it amazes his disciples. They go off and get something to eat. They come back with something to eat. And he's wowed this woman. He talked with her, which you're not supposed to do, right? It's a social taboo. You're a Jew, don't talk to Samaritans. But he talked with her. And he offers her living water. He reveals himself in a very interesting way to her that he's the Messiah. He directly says it, in fact, after he shows her the signs. And it's fascinating because when his disciples come to him, they offer him something. He says, "No, my food is to do the will of the one who sent me, accomplish his work." And then while they're having that exchange, she's going off to the village to tell everyone, hey, I think I found the Messiah. And he stayed there. Him and his disciples stayed there and ministered. Yeah. Isn't that how we're supposed to treat those who are supposed to be our enemies? Even the Muslims. I would say that. Even the Muslims, with as much as it's in there to kill us, and we've seen that it witnessed throughout the ages. Or how about the teaching of the Samaritan, the Good Samaritan? It's interesting he frames them that way. Very interesting. I could go on about that, but just stop and think about that. You know, I think a better thing to do is stop looking at what this right woke is doing and start looking at what Christ is doing. If there is this enemy that is taboo, consider what he did to the Samaritan and do that. Yeah. Well, I hope we can save some of these people from the woke right, just the same as those on the woke left. Sad, really. Anyways, that's all I've got for you. God bless.